cheering also. No doubt very many members of the public have come out to greet him. On his way now to Downing Street, where Adam Bolton is. Adam.
Yes, so we can see crowds gathering now at the end of Downing Street by the metal gates on both sides of the road. Large number of police there. Should say, just got a statement from the Liberal Democrats, which gives a pretty clear idea why they couldn't reach agreement with Labour. It says it became clear to the Liberal Democrats that certain key Labour cabinet ministers were determined to undermine any agreement by holding out on policy issues and suggesting that Labour would not deliver on proportional representation and might not marshal the votes to secure even the most modest form of electoral reform. It's clear that some people in the Labour Party see opposition as a more attractive alternative to the challenges of creating a progressive reforming government, not least in the context of a Labour leadership election campaign. I think a lover spurned, if you like, there. The Liberal Democrats not happy with that at all. And of course, remember that word progressive is now a battleground for that, because Labour is saying they are the progressive party, Liberal Democrats say they are the progressive party, and guess what? The new modern Conservatives say they are the progressive party. Anyway, Joey is with me now. Joey.
I'm just listening to what you're saying.
Would you mind going to Joey Jones in just one moment? Let's go over to Buckingham Palace now. Our royal correspondent Sarah Hughes has the official letter with her pronouncing, I suppose, that David Cameron is our new Prime Minister. Sarah. Yes, Anna, indeed. This is the announcement from Buckingham Palace, from the press secretary to the Queen, saying the Queen received the Right Honourable David Cameron this evening and requested him to form a new administration. The Right Honourable David Cameron accepted Her Majesty's offer and kissed hands upon his appointment as Prime Minister and First Lord of the Treasury, his ceremonial title. Now, that line about kissing hands, that is an old-fashioned homage. It doesn't actually happen. You may remember the film The Queen, when the actor Michael Sheen was playing Tony Blair. He knelt before the Queen and kissed hands upon his appointment. Well, nowadays that doesn't, in fact, happen. They are more likely to have shaken hands on his appointment. It is an old-fashioned formality, but it is still recorded in the court circular that the new Prime Minister kissed hands upon his appointment. So David Cameron is now Prime Minister, the Queen's 12th Prime Minister, after an audience that lasted some 25 minutes with the Queen. We understand that his wife, Samantha Cameron, was invited in to meet the Queen at the end of that audience, and then they were driven away from the quadrangle here at Buckingham Palace. Now, the very first time it's reported, in fact, that David Cameron saw the Queen, or the Queen saw David Cameron, was many years ago when he was just 8 years old. David Cameron attended the same prep school as Prince Edward. He took part in a school play. He was dressed as a rabbit, and the Queen was sat there in the front row. Far more formal proceedings taking place here today during that 25-minute audience when the Queen invited David Cameron to form her next government and become her 12th Prime Minister. Sarah Hughes live there from the quadrangle at Buckingham Palace. Thanks very much indeed. So the onward progression to Downing Street, no doubt a long-held ambition for David Cameron. Let's go straight to Adam Bolton. No doubt he'll be arriving very soon, Adam.
Yes, and already some cheers coming from the crowd at the end of the road. When the gates swing open, we'll know David Cameron's on the way. We're told it's going to be a business-like statement that he makes. And overall, from Cameron-Clegg government, I guess we're going to have to call it, Joey. What should we expect?
Yes, the choreography of all this sort of thing is very important, and certainly, as you will know, Adam, everybody's mind, and I think the Conservatives' minds as well, slipped back to 1997, and they knew that they couldn't do anything as they were planning or daring to plan for this day that would sort of replicate that sort of euphoria. So I think we're going to get something that's much more sober, much more business-like, with a sense of, things to be done.
Because in 97, of course, the supporters were let into the street. They were outside Downing Street waving Union Jacks and Labour flags, very, very triumphant, and the Blairs and their children all posed on the doorstep. We're not going to get that, obviously.
I don't think we'll get the children. Samantha Cameron will be there. Yes, that's right, but that's an experience that they'll have to look forward to in future days. And what you were saying there about mutual, recriminations between the Liberal Democrats and Labour, actually the mood music...
The new Prime Minister, David Cameron, driving in, yes, and a cheer there from the crowd in Whitehall. David Cameron driving straight in. That is right on that top.
Her Majesty the Queen has asked me to form a new government, and I have accepted. Before I talk about that new government, let me say something about the one that has just passed. Compared with a decade ago, this country is more open at home and more compassionate abroad, and that is something we should all be grateful for. And on behalf of the whole country, I'd like to pay tribute to the outgoing Prime Minister for his long record of dedicated public service. In terms of the future, our country has a hung parliament where no party has an overall majority, and we have some deep and pressing problems, a huge deficit, deep social problems, and a political system in need of reform. For those reasons, I aim to form a proper and full coalition between the Conservatives and the Liberal Democrats. I believe that is the right way to provide this country with the strong, the stable, the good and decent government that I think we need so badly. Nick Clegg and I are both political leaders who want to put aside party differences and work hard for the common good and for the national interest. I believe that is the best way to get the strong government that we need, decisive government that we need today. I came into politics because I love this country. I think its best days still lie ahead, and I believe deeply in public service. And I think the service our country needs right now is to face up to our really big challenges, to confront our problems, to take difficult decisions, to lead people through those difficult decisions so that together we can reach better times ahead. One of the tasks that we clearly have is to rebuild trust in our political system. Yes, that's about cleaning up expenses. Yes, that's about reforming Parliament. And yes, it's about making sure people are in control and that the politicians are always their servants and never their masters. But I believe it's also something else. It's about being honest about what government can achieve. Real change is not what government can do on its own. Real change is when everyone pulls together, comes together, works together, when we all exercise our responsibilities to ourselves, to our families, to our communities, and to others. And I want to help try and build a more responsible society here in Britain. One where we don't just ask, what are my entitlements, but what are my responsibilities? One we don't ask what am I just owed, but more, what can I give? And a guide for that society that those who can should, and those who can't, we will always help. I want to make sure that my government always looks after the elderly, the frail, the poorest in our country. We must take everyone through us on some of the difficult decisions that we have ahead. Above all, it will be a government that is built on some clear values. Values of freedom, values of fairness, and values of responsibility. I want us to build an economy that rewards work. I want us to build a society with stronger families and stronger communities. And I want a political system that people can trust and look up to once again. This is going to be hard and difficult work. A coalition will throw up all sorts of challenges, but I believe together we can provide that strong and stable government that our country needs, based on those values, rebuilding family, rebuilding community, above all, rebuilding responsibility in our country. Those are the things I care about. Those are the things that this government will now start work on doing. Thank you very much.